Frederick W. Smith, a young Yale undergraduate, sat at his desk, surrounded by a sea of books and papers. The room was dimly lit, the air thick with the scent of old paper and ink. Smith was deep in thought, his mind racing with ideas that seemed too grand for the confines of his dorm room. A sense of frustration was building within him, a frustration that had been simmering for weeks. He had poured his heart and soul into his term paper, a paper that he believed could change the world. His economics professor had just returned his term paper, the one he had spent countless nights working on, fueled by coffee and sheer determination. This was no ordinary paper. It dared to propose a radical new system for moving goods across the country, a system that could revolutionize the logistics industry. The grade? A mediocre C. Smith stared at the grade in disbelief, his heart sinking. How could his professor not see the potential in his idea? The professor's comment? The concept is interesting and well-formed, but in order to earn higher than a C, the idea must be feasible. Feasible. The word echoed in Smith's mind, a challenge that he was determined to meet. Little did the professor know, he had just ignited a fire in Smith that would change the world. Smith was not one to back down from a challenge. If anything, the professor's skepticism only fueled his determination. Smith's paper outlined a novel concept, an overnight delivery service that prioritized speed and efficiency. It was a bold idea, one that required a complete overhaul of the existing logistics systems. Instead of relying on traditional passenger airline routes, Smith envisioned a dedicated fleet of cargo planes operating on a hub-and-spoke model. This model would allow for faster, more reliable delivery of packages. Packages would be flown to a central hub, sorted, and then flown out to their destinations, all while most of the world slept. His classmates scoffed. His professors were skeptical. But Smith saw something they didn't. Smith was undeterred. He knew in his gut that his idea had merit. He could see the future, a future where businesses could rely on fast, efficient delivery services to meet the demands of an increasingly interconnected world. He knew that the world was changing, becoming more interconnected with each passing day. Businesses craved faster, more reliable ways to ship their products, and Smith's vision was the answer. The world was changing, becoming increasingly interconnected, and businesses craved faster, more reliable ways to ship their products. Smith's vision was audacious, ambitious, and, in his mind, absolutely essential for the future of commerce. Smith's vision was audacious, ambitious, and in his mind, absolutely essential for the future of commerce. He believed that his idea could not only meet the demands of the present but also pave the way for the future. This was no mere flight of fancy. Smith had a clear vision, a vision that he believed in with every fiber of his being. He was ready to take on the world to prove that his idea was not just feasible, but revolutionary. Smith had poured countless hours into researching his idea, meticulously studying airline schedules, package delivery routes, and the burgeoning demand for expedited shipping. He knew the ins and outs of the logistics industry like the back of his hand. He had seen firsthand the limitations of existing systems, the delays, the inefficiencies, the lost packages. He knew that there had to be a better way, and he was determined to find it. His paper wasn't just an academic exercise, it was a blueprint for revolutionizing an entire industry. Smith's vision was clear, and he was ready to take on the world to make it a reality. The year was 1966. The world was in the throes of significant change, with social, political, and technological revolutions reshaping societies across the globe. A young Frederick W. Smith, fresh out of Yale, was among those caught in this whirlwind of transformation. He had just graduated, full of ideas and ambition, ready to make his mark on the world. But instead of heading straight into the business world, Smith found himself thrust into the heart of the Vietnam War. This was a conflict that would not only test his mettle but also shape his future in ways he could never have imagined. Serving as a Marine Corps platoon leader, Smith witnessed firsthand the brutal realities of conflict. The daily grind of survival, the camaraderie among soldiers, and the ever-present danger of the battlefield were his new reality. Yet, amidst the chaos and carnage, a different kind of lesson was taking root in his mind. It was a lesson not about war, but about logistics, efficiency, and the power of well-coordinated operations. The military's logistical operations, their ability to move men and material with astonishing speed and precision across vast distances, captivated Smith's imagination. He saw how crucial these operations were to the success of military missions. He observed the intricate dance of helicopters ferrying troops, the seamless coordination required to ensure that every mission was executed flawlessly. Supply planes dropping payloads with pinpoint accuracy, ensuring that soldiers on the ground had the supplies they needed to continue their operations, and a constant flow of vital goods reaching even the most remote outposts, demonstrating the military's commitment to maintaining a steady supply chain under the most challenging conditions. These experiences, etched into his memory amidst the harrowing backdrop of war, would prove to be formative. They planted the seeds of an idea that would grow and evolve over time. Smith saw, in the military's logistical prowess, a model for the future of civilian transportation. He began to envision a world where the same principles could be applied to commercial logistics. The speed, the efficiency, the sheer organizational brilliance of it all. It was a revelation. He realized that these military strategies could revolutionize the way businesses operated. Smith realized that the same principles could be applied to revolutionize the way businesses shipped their goods. He saw the potential for a new kind of logistics company, one that could offer unprecedented speed and reliability. The seed of an idea, planted back in his Yale dorm room, began to take root and flourish in the fertile ground of Smith's wartime observations. He started to sketch out plans, envisioning a company that could transform the shipping industry. He recognized a critical gap in the civilian sector, a lack of the same urgency, the same commitment to swift, dependable delivery that he witnessed every day in Vietnam. The inefficiencies of existing shipping methods were glaringly obvious to him. The world was ready for a faster, more reliable shipping solution, and Smith was determined to be the one to deliver it. He knew that with the right approach, he could revolutionize the industry and meet the growing demands of businesses and consumers alike. In 1971, armed with an unshakable belief in his vision and a $4 million inheritance, Frederick W. Smith founded Federal Express, later shortened to FedEx. Smith, a Yale graduate, had written a term paper outlining the need for a reliable overnight delivery service, a concept that was revolutionary at the time. His idea was met with skepticism, but Smith was undeterred. He believed that the world was ready for a new kind of logistics company, one that could guarantee overnight delivery of packages, no matter the distance. The company's launch was nothing short of audacious. Smith, still in his 20s, defied the skeptics and naysayers, assembling a fleet of 14 Dassault Falcon jets and targeting a market that didn't even know it needed his services. He envisioned a system where packages could be sent from one part of the country to another overnight, a feat that seemed impossible at the time. The logistics were complex, the costs were high, and the risks were enormous, but Smith was determined to make it work. The early days were fraught with challenges. The company faced numerous operational hurdles, from securing landing rights at airports to establishing a reliable network of delivery routes. Every day brought a new set of problems, and the pressure was immense. Smith and his team had to innovate constantly, finding new ways to streamline operations and cut costs. The company hemorrhaged money, facing skepticism from investors, resistance from established players, and the daunting task of building a complex logistical operation from scratch. Investors were wary, and many doubted that the company could ever turn a profit. The financial strain was palpable, and there were times when it seemed like the company might not survive. Smith and his team worked tirelessly, navigating regulatory hurdles, refining their hub-and-spoke model, and painstakingly building their network. The hub-and-spoke system, which centralized operations through a single hub, was a key innovation that allowed FedEx to offer reliable overnight delivery. It was a logistical marvel, but it required meticulous planning and flawless execution. Fuel costs soared due to the OPEC oil embargo, pushing FedEx to the brink. The sudden spike in fuel prices was a severe blow to the fledgling company, which relied heavily on its fleet of jets. The financial pressure intensified, and Smith had to find ways to keep the company afloat despite the skyrocketing costs. Competitors, sensing an opportunity, moved aggressively to protect their market share. Established players in the shipping industry were not about to let a newcomer disrupt their business without a fight. They ramped up their own services, cut prices, and did everything they could to undermine FedEx's efforts. Employees, their paychecks often delayed, showed unwavering loyalty, driven by Smith's infectious enthusiasm and unwavering belief in the company's mission. Smith's leadership was a crucial factor in keeping the team motivated. He was not just a boss, he was a visionary who inspired his employees to believe in the impossible. It was a time of immense pressure, constant uncertainty, and the ever-present threat of failure. The stress was overwhelming, and the stakes were incredibly high. Every decision had to be made with precision, and there was no room for error. Yet, Smith never wavered. He poured every ounce of his energy, every dollar he could raise, into keeping FedEx afloat. He was relentless in his pursuit of success, working long hours and making personal sacrifices to ensure the company's survival. His dedication was unwavering, and his belief in the company's potential never faltered. He knew that his company wasn't just about delivering packages, it was about delivering on a promise of speed, reliability, and a commitment to exceeding customer expectations. Smith understood that in order to succeed, FedEx had to offer something that no other company could: a guarantee of overnight delivery. This promise became the cornerstone of FedEx's business model and the key to its eventual success. Failure was not an option. Smith's determination and vision were the driving forces behind FedEx's rise from a struggling startup to a global logistics powerhouse. His story is a testament to the power of perseverance, innovation, and unwavering belief in a bold vision.